Lloyd, welcome back. How the devil are you today, my friend?
I'm so excited to hang out with you.
Me too, man. Me too. Well, have
Nice.
you performed magic to anyone?
But I actually have not. How insane is that?
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh, do you know what? I have an opportunity. This is how much of a hermit I am. I sent you a voice note the other day. You sent me
Yeah.
one saying, "Have I performed magic?" I said, "I actually haven't." And you said, "Have you been wearing the t-shirt?" And I said, "Yeah, because I've been wearing the Reed Ferry t-shirt." And in the background, my wife Kaylee shouts. I said, "But I haven't performed anything." And then what did she shout in the background? She was like, "Yeah, because he doesn't leave the house."
Yeah.
It's true. It's like, so I've been wearing the t-shirt, but no one's asked to see a trick because I haven't seen. But my neighbor came out on his
Yeah.
drive like 2 or 3 days ago, and he said, "Oh, can I come over and see a magic trick? Because I've heard about what you do, and you're so secretive. I don't know anything about it, but I've heard that you do magic." This is how much of a hermit I am and how much I keep it private. So my neighbor that I've been living next to for over 2 years or like a year and a half had like I don't tell anyone or anything.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's coming over at some point for me to show him magic. So
So why didn't
I
you
can't
just say,
escape
yeah,
that.
come over right now? Like,
I bitched out.
oh,
I bitched out.
Lloyd, this
Well,
is like literally.
he came out because he
you-
see me loading the car up to go somewhere.
Yeah,
So
but you've
I couldn't
said
see.
to me in the past, the reason I don't perform magic is basically someone's literally got to beg you to see magic before you're like, oh, fine, all right then, and then you're going to blow their mind. And this guy was like, oh, hey, I heard you do magic. Is there any chance I could, and you're like, yeah, maybe later.
He
Just
didn't
fobbed
beg
him
enough.
off. You just-
He didn't beg enough. I said they got to beg. That was not begging. That was a loose framing of a question.
Well,
But I know.
tell you
Yeah.
what,
But
I've got a story for you about basically someone doing the exact same thing, like basically almost begging to see a magic trick, and it was really, really fun. But before that, I've got some things that I wanted to share with you because on my last video, I remember at the end saying, "Oh, I had an opportunity to perform magic at work, and I bitched out because we were looking at our phones." And that little speech that I did to people I inspired myself because I found myself in the exact same position, looking at my bloody phone, right? And David was there on his break, and I was looking at my phone, and I was like, "This is what I was talking about. This is literally I've got a gimmicked receipt, right? Right there. I've got a cup." And I've got my Sharpie, I could show him chop right now. And I was just like, got to do it, man. Before I talked myself out of it, I just did it. I said, "Hey, David," and I had to do this in French as well. I was like, "Oh, is there any chance I can show you something? Do you want to play a game?" And he's like, all of a sudden, he's just like, "Yeah, okay, I'll play a game." Number one, I got him to like put his phone down. Result, right? If you can draw anyone away from the bloody funhouse mirror, that's a result. So
Yeah.
he's like, "Yeah, okay. What game is it?" And I said, "Oh, well, look, we've got this receipt, and we've got a cup, and I just want let's just play a game. Like, where is the receipt? We pop it in the cup, and yeah, anyway, I perform chop to him. Yeah, I don't, obviously I don't bring out an orange, but I just do a few little routines, and he's just like, "What? That's amazing! Like, what? Are you a magician? What the hell? Like, how are you doing that?" He was mind blown, and I was like, "What? Like, that was so easy. I don't know why." Why I didn't do this the other day. And I just thought, what? Fortune favors the brave. And yeah, it was just like, maybe like a little performance of chop. And then he said, "Oh, do you have anything else?" So I did Rejoined Express, and I did a beautiful little scripting of like, I'm leaving soon, and like, this is you, David, and this is me, and like we're together right now, but I'm going to leave, and I don't want you to forget me. So what if I could make something that would make you remember me, like an impossible souvenir, to just cement this little memory of you and me. And then I was like, "Oh, look at that." And he's just like, "What? What the hell?" And it just blew his mind. He had no idea I did magic. And I did two of like the craziest impossible tricks. And I just left it there. And I was like, "Oh, I've got to go back to work." And he was like, "What the hell?" So,
Oh my God. I can
was so
imagine
good.
just how much you destroyed. Especially, I imagine the Rejoin Express came so out of left field. Like, it probably seemed like it was not set up, in advance where you had it planned because, he sort of initiated the second part of it.
Yeah.
Has he spoke to people about it? Has anyone come up to you and be like, "Oh, yo, David said like you are an actual magician"? Like, have you heard like any echoes from people?
So that leads me on to my next one, which I think, to be totally honest, was probably one of the greatest magic tricks I've ever done because of the setting, right? So Julian comes up, and Julian is he's like he looks a lot like Trevor from GTA 6, if you can imagine. I don't know if you ever, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Trev,
Which
boy.
yeah. So he's like, he's quite a sort of like, sometimes he's grumpy, but sometimes he's like tongue in cheek grumpy. You can't really tell if he's like grumpy or not. Anyway, he just said, and again, this is what he almost begged me. He was like, "Sir, the next day he comes to the break room and he's like, so I know it's like your last day, and I heard that you were a magician." And I'm like in the middle of eating my sandwich. I'm like, yeah, I do magic. And he's like, I've got a deck of cards in my car. You know, bicycle cards. Do you know bicycle? I'm like, yeah, I know bicycle cards. And he's like, I could go get them if you want. And I was like, yeah, maybe. Sort of finishing my sandwich. And he's like, oh, well, it's okay. Like if you're, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I don't want to bother you. I was like, oh, it's okay. I've actually got a deck of cards, like actually bicycle cards like this. He's like, oh, no way. Oh my God. Is there any chance you could show me something? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Why not? And okay, so I'll pause there because this is like your dream scenario. Someone's literally come up to me. Dream scenario. Oh, you wouldn't happen to show me a magic trick? Well, maybe. I've got a deck of cards. So if someone did that to you, Lloyd, you'd be like, what? And I remember thinking of like...
the first thing I would have done is I would have been like, yeah, go and get them. And I would have grabbed a dupe out of my deck and loaded it into his.
Ah, yeah. No, it was like, he would have had to go downstairs and stuff. It was fine. But I did the following trick.
What did you do?
Well, I'd like to perform it to you right now, actually, Lloyd. Yeah.
Yes.
Because why not? We're magicians, and let me see if I can get this. Oh, you can see everything, right? So this is the situation I'm in, right? So I say to him, look, so I've got some cards.
Sorry.
That's okay. I've got some cards here.
Excited. Yeah.
And I said, I don't know if you know the history of cards, but there's certain theories behind the cards. Like, for example, a lot of people think that there's a bit of a calendar theme. Like, for example, the red cards represent day and the black cards represent night. And he was like, oh, I didn't know that. I said there's 4 suits, which can represent the 4 seasons. And there's 13 cards in every suit, which can represent the 13 lunar cycles. He's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I said, interestingly enough, if you add up all the numbers, like 2, you got 11 for a jack, 2, 4. If you add up all the numbers, they add up to 365. And he's like, no way. He's like, I didn't know that. I was like, yeah, it's pretty crazy, right? So Lloyd, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just deal off a few cards, and I just want you to tell me to stop. We'll do this a few times, so you just tell me when to stop whenever you want. Oh, that one there. What? One more?
Sure. One more.
Yeah.
One more.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then we'll do another one.
Stop.
Yeah, just there. And then we'll do one more.
Stop.
Maybe one more.
Stop.
That one there. Maybe one more. There? You happy?
Yes.
Okay, so now we've got these 5 piles that we've stopped at really, really randomly, okay? And then we're just going to like, let's lean into the calendar theme, okay? So why don't we pick a date that's really important to you? For example, like your birthday. Like, when's your birthday?
28th of August, 1988.
The 28th of August, 1988. Okay, so if we were to represent that in cards, well, obviously that's fairly easy, right? 28, and then the August would be, well, that's what month is that?
8th.
8th. So that would be, oh, actually that would be 2, 8, 8, 8, 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. That's your date of birth, right?
Very lucky in China. So
yeah, right. So if you were here, you could turn over that top card right now, and that would be a 2, which is pretty wild, right?
Oh yeah.
And what did you say? It was the 20. Oh, of course, it's the 28th, right? Yeah. So
of the 8th.
Of the 8th. Of the 8th. Of the 8th. That is.
Oh, dude, that's such a good to do that. Oh my God.
If you'd stopped one more, it would have. Well, it actually would have been 2 as well, but it can't possibly be an 8 because all the 8s are turned up. So if you'd have stopped one more, it wouldn't have worked.
Wow.
So it's actually crazy that we've shared this impossible moment. Like, you told me when to stop. It could have been completely random, but you actually stopped completely on the day that you were born, and that's pretty unlikely, right? That's pretty random.
What the hell did he? So you did this
I
to
did this to
Julian?
Julian. Yeah, yeah.
Seemingly, he. Oh my god! So he approached you out of the blue,
He approached
and you
me
just.
out of the blue, and I did that trick to him impromptu. He lost his shit. He was like, "What the hell, man?" He's like, "I thought you were just gonna like lose a card in the deck and find it." He's like, "I that." He's like, "That was." He just, when someone's like literally lost for words, he was like, "I don't understand." I was like, I just, that was amazing." He was like, "That was amazing." He was like, "That's the best magic trick I've ever seen in my life." He's like, "When people said that you're a magician, I didn't think that you were like literally magic." And I was like, "Wow, yeah." I mean, like, and I said, "Julian, it wasn't me. Like, we just shared an impossible moment. Like, you told me when
Oh,
to stop, right? You told me when to stop, and you landed on the date of your birth." And he was like, "What the hell?" And then David came upstairs just at the right time, and then Julian started talking to him and saying, "Oh my God, he just showed me a magic trick." And he was like, "Oh, was it the one with the cup?" And he was like, "No, God, no, it was." He just, and then, when you hear someone explain a magic trick, you're like, "Yeah," because they ham it up, the
yeah,
beautiful
they
magical
have it up.
memory.
Well, yeah, yeah, they ham it up, but also they forget certain elements too. So, and then they convince themselves, and it's like it's the knot that the Gordian knot, the knot that tightens itself like a Mobius strip. Now they're forever locked in; they'll never be able to they seal the method off.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, dude. So, what the hell?
yeah, right. So do you
So,
want me to
yeah,
let you in on how I did it?
yeah. I have like a rough idea, but to actually sort of the crazy, yeah. Go on, just ooh,
Right. So obviously you're a magician, right? So I haven't fooled you, but I wanted to share the trick with you because I wanted you to experience it, right? And we can,
yes,
and I like it, and we're going to share it with a wider audience as well when we release this. So I wanted to share with you the moment of how it unfolded, right? And the whole scripting and stuff. But how did I know when his birthday was? Right. This was genius, right? There is in the break room, there is loads of bits of paper all over the wall, like lots of like certificates and health and safety bits and bobs. And I noticed there was a list of all the managers, right, and their dates of birth on the wall, right. And I clocked this like weeks and weeks and weeks ago, and I was like, "Oh,
huh.
interesting. I know all of the managers' dates of birth, so if I ever wanted to do that trick, I could figure it out." And so when Julian asked me, I was like, "Oh, like as I was eating my sandwich, I was like looking at the wall. I was like, where?" And unfortunately, the drawing pin had like it slid, so the piece of paper had slid underneath another piece of paper, but I could just make out it said Julian, and I could just make out his date of birth, and I was like, 18th of the 10th, 78. I was like, okay. And then as I got the cards out, I quickly just culled the cards to the top, and I was like, "Okay, should we begin?" And obviously, it went completely under the radar. And again, so this was like just this beautiful moment of like,
Wow.
I've spied an impossible piece of information, which I can reveal in the most beautiful way. And he was just, there's no way, like we're not even that close. How on earth would I have possibly known his date of birth?
That is for me, that is what real magic is. It's taking complete advantage of a situation, and it's a method that you couldn't write into a book because that method really could only take place for you in that moment at that time with all the conditions that were put in front of you, and what it led to was something completely unexplainable.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
even if Julian was to go back and be like, "Oh, my date of birth is on the wall," and he could have seen it. He then stumbles onto the problem of, well, that deck was shuffled and I told him exactly where to stop and he had no control over it. And you know what I mean? Like everything would sort of cancel itself out. Yeah, you can't really just. So the problem with magicians normally, and I don't think you did this, I think you avoided this, that the problem with magicians normally is that they would do an effect like that and then try and do more. But I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
think, and I think it would have killed it a bit.
That's the thing. Like with Chop, because I didn't do the full routine. I didn't like I didn't pull the receipt out of a lemon. You know what I mean? I just did a few bits. I thought ending on Rejoined Express was perfect. I was like, I can't. There's no way I can follow up with any more. That is the best. That's like one of the best magic tricks I've ever done in my life. There's no way I can follow up with ambitious card or anything like that is.
Yeah, you don't want to
He's
like
just
downgrade what you've just
yeah, yeah.
done because
I
you're on a buzz about performing.
they say leave on a high, and plus I was on a time budget. I was like, "Oh well, my break's over now. See you later." And he was just like, still just stunned in the break room, like, "What the hell happened?" He was just, and then he kept coming up to me at work because I was on the till. He was like, I just keep thinking about that. I just can't work it out. And I love that. That was, again, so when I say that was one of the greatest magic tricks, because of the situation, because of the impossibility of it, the impromptu-ness of it, and the fact that it left him completely bewildered. And like, he had his expectations. I don't know where his expectations were, but they were blown after that. And I was like, sick. Like, that was, I can't wait to share this with Lloyd.
Oh, dude, that's the stuff that gets me going, man. It really is, because it's also like inspirational, because in my head, if someone put me on the spot like that with a deck of cards, I don't think I would have gone to that effect. I probably would have done something potentially. Potentially would have done. I really like Out of This World. I love the Out of This World effect, and I've gotten some great reactions over the years. And there's an amazing version by Stephen Leithwaite that I'll share with you later on. And I'll do it offline, but it's really powerful. But you kind of need two people for it. And I forget sometimes that like going the personal route is far stronger than going the like not the magician fooling route, but like Out of This World, there's a stone cold fooler, especially the version that Leithwaite has. There's no layperson ever working it out, but it's nowhere near as good as revealing somebody's birth date that in an effect where they like that you have this innate ability, Fred, to pick out like it seems like the perfect trick in the moment, where I definitely wouldn't have done that. So yeah, if someone had come up to me, I would not have got the same reaction as you. Like, that was amazing.
I'm sure you would have got a fantastic reaction, Lloyd. You've got
it wouldn't have been as good.
You've got oodles of magic. But
have you seen my? Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say, I just have to say that was for me that was up there with just an impossible. I impressed myself. I was like, well, I can't, even if
only you could bottle that.
Yeah. Oh, but that's what I like. So I wanted to share it with you and then share it to a wider audience, because like this was, I know that other people, when they watch this, they'll be buzzing as well. Like, whoa, what an impossible moment.
And also because before magic,
right. And that's the joy. I got a beautiful comment on my channel, actually, which maybe I'll read that out later, about how my last video inspired someone to go out and perform magic. And that's the whole ethos of it, is to actually get people from underperforming hobbyists to sharing even just one magic trick with someone. And
I'm so desperate to go perform like right now. There's two things to go on a path with your effect there. The first is so I have this in my notes, and I know a bunch of I actually sort of it's not an idea to take, but like I sort of saw this, like, I'm gonna totally copy this. In my notes on my phone, I have a huge list of people's names and information about them. So certain friends, when they go to the bar or coffee shop, I will take out, if they leave their wallet on the table, take their wallet out and write down their bank card number, get a piece of information such as birth dates. If I can notice somebody's got a banknote on them, I'll write down the bill number on my phone. Normally, I will leave that for a year or so, or a couple of months before bringing it back out, and then I'll force like the serial number or their bank card number or other bits of information using like an app. But just as a thing, I saw this being done in New York. And I won't expose the magician, it's not, but the list that I have is like, I don't know, probably realistically like 60 people and different bits of information. Theirs was just like never ending. But basically every time they met someone in exactly the same environment that you were sort of in, or the same sense, in that whatever information they could glean off someone and think, maybe I could use it later, maybe I'll never use it, they would quickly put it in the notes. And you never know when it's going to come back. So say, for example, Julian's wallet was on the table, or you saw, you knew the last, his phone was there or something, and you could get the last three numbers of his wife's phone number, the last three digits of his wife's phone number, or something like that. And then you write it in your notes. And then later on, you could say, I'm going to write down a 3 random digit number, but don't make it too random. Make it something like maybe unique to you. Maybe it's the last 3 digits of your wife's number, or maybe it's something to do with a birth date, whatever it's going to be. And then, but basically have this massive list and start collating it now. And yeah, you never know when you're going to find yourself in another Julian situation.
I like that. Jake Keane had something on his Patreon about that as well, like how he's like collecting all this information as well, just for the right impossible moment. It's so weird. He said a really good thing about like sometimes really good magic is just someone being completely nerdy and collecting loads of impossible information about random people, and then And yeah, that's
But the other good thing to do as well is like if you are friends with someone and you meet a member of their family randomly, like don't be afraid to say, hey, this is really random. I'm gonna keep, don't tell the secret, but like what was his first pet's name? Or like stuff like that. So just like go out on a limb and ask a friend of a friend bits of information. And say like, oh, because if it comes back around to bite you, then so be it. But normally it doesn't. If you're sincere with your intention and they can see you're trying to like make an amazing moment, because then there's no connection to how you could know their grandmother's middle name or something completely ridiculous that they just wouldn't fathom. Write it down and sit on it for as long as you can, and then wait for them to ask you something, and now suddenly you're in miracle territory. The other thing is, if you like birth dates and stuff, I'll send you a copy. I've got an app called Maxim. Have you seen it?
I've got Maxim. I'm pretty sure I've got Maxim. Have I?
So basically, what you can do in there is you can create user profiles, and you fill out pieces of information about people.
I've got Maxim.
Okay, well there you go. So if it has a similar thing with the birth dates, and that you can fill out user profiles, and then depending on where they cut the stack, and you tell it what card's on top, it might say to like deal down to their birthday. And the reason that exists is because I found that using, for example, ACANS is such an arbitrary thing. It doesn't really get a reaction. Magicians love it, but many people don't. As soon as I started attributing personal details to it, instead of saying like deal down to a random number, this time deal down to the day of the month you were born, if it was in the right place. Suddenly it went from, if I'd done an Out of This World, it would have been okay. But if I had shuffled to his birthday, miracle stars. That's the differences it creates.
Yeah, no, 100%. I've done that with Chris before. I say I didn't get on with it. The only reason why I didn't is because when you said a really good line in your book, don't base the potential for a magic app on your first shaky performance of it. So obviously I was practicing with Chris and I kept looking at my phone and she was like, is it something to do with the phone? And I was like, no. But obviously
you're something to do with the phone.
I'm just going to set a time anyway. But I did it, and it was because she's got two sisters, and it was something to do with like 23 cards down. I was like, let's just think of something random, like one of your sister's birthdays, like I don't know, like Carmen's birthday. That was the 23rd. Oh, okay, so let's just deal down 23 cards, and it was there. And she was blown away. She was absolutely blown away. The only problem is she said, is it something to do with the phone? Which put me off. But again, that is not a reflection of the trick. It's the reflection of the performance.
But it could be the reflection of the trick. It could be not suited to you.
No, maybe not suited to me, but it's just the fact that like my first shaky performance to my girlfriend, I was just like, and I haven't done it since, which is interesting because it's got so much potential, and the trailer was incredible with Javier doing that. Do you remember like the shot where he did it, the back to back with that guy in the park on the park bench, and then like it was so good.
Javier crushes it, man. But yeah, I'm the same as you, though, man. The amount of tricks that I've shelved because I've had one bad performance or a shaky performance, and then really
you should take your own advice. You should take your own advice in the book.
I should take my own advice. Maybe that we should do that, right? We should try and create a series. I need to perform more to random people, but it should be like a series of go out and perform more. And you should get like a whole community of people to start sharing that, and then going back over like hidden gems, like or stuff that you've like what would it be called, like revisions or something, or on second thoughts.
Hidden gems,
second chances, second chance saloon. And if it still sucks, then it goes in the trash can.
So there's a guy who's got a YouTube channel called Limitless Project. His name's Trevor. I think he's got a criminally undersubscribed channel, to be honest. But yeah, he was showing all of his magic tricks, and I was like, oh my god, dude, you have so much magic. And then he messaged back saying, yeah, this is actually, I've got more in the other room. I was like, but he does some really good magic, and like the way he plans his like little routines and stuff. I think it's great. People should check that out. I've already highlighted it on the channel once before, but yeah, Limitless Project, go check him out because he's
go and subscribe to him.
I think
how much magic do you have?
Not as nearly as much as Trevor. Like, obviously there's magic everywhere, like right here. But that's another thing. So I was out last night, and one of the things I really wanted to do was perform magic for my work colleagues on a broader kind of scale, but like they all speak French, and like even though I speak French, I get nervous about my French because when they all speak French together, I get lost in the conversation. But finally, again, hindsight's always 2020, but I finally went out last night and was like, right, let's go socialize together. It's the last, before they all go, because they're all seasonal workers, so like they're going to go off back to Strasbourg or wherever they live. And I was like, okay, cool. So we're finally in the pub together. and we're all around the table, and I did a whole magic gig pretty much, right, in French. Even like I did mentalism scripts in French. And I was just like, oh my God, like why was I so scared to do this? I blew their minds. It was absolutely incredible how and I realized that I was funny in French. I made jokes in French. Like I was just like, oh yeah, I can still get across my personality in French. And I looked at the other two guys there. One of them was drunk. He made a racist joke. The other guy was just like looking at his phone. And I was like, why? It doesn't really take much to like be charming and sociable. You know, all you got to do is just comparatively, right? One guy turned up like fucking blind drunk, and the other guy was just like obsessed with his phone or like the football on the TV. And there were like three girls there, and I was just like entertaining them with magic. I was trying to entertain with everyone, but you know, the drunk guy wasn't that interested, and the other guy was just looking at his phone. So I was just like, oh wow. And in the end, I came away with it like thinking, oh, you know, I don't know why I was so scared about the language barrier. Like, there's so much more to being sociable than to being fluent in the language. You know what I mean?
Video yesterday, and it says about, I was almost sleight of hand, but is it, what's this guy's name? Alexander Moravian says that 7% of communication is verbal. The other 93% is to do with 38% is tone and 55% is body language. So yeah, all that stressing about like not speaking the same language, well, really it's only 7% of the equation. So we need to break this down trick by trick.
Oh,
what did you bust out to begin? How did you proceed?
What did I do? I did Rejoined Express, I'm pretty sure, because I did it to Anais, and she is a girl we've been working closely with, and you know, and I said, oh, listen, let's try something. You know, write your name down here. And I did the same sort of thing. I won't go over it again, but you know, you and I are together right now. But, you know, we're gonna drift apart. So you know, wouldn't it be really? And again, that scripting is so much better than just, whoa, isn't that impossible? It's so nice because it's like, look, this has got your name on it, this has got my name on it, and it's just like a real story of like, look, we're going to drift apart, but wouldn't it be cool if like we could have an impossible souvenir that would remind, oh, I forgot, I got the bloody, hold on a second.
Oh, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? I should know whether I should sing a song right now or like hold the fort. Oh, okay, Annie's back. Annie's back in the room.
No. I completely forgot that I incorporated this into the routine, which is so good. Right.
Okay.
So at work, right, because I use a wheelchair, if I need help, I've got a little bell, and I ding the bell. Right. It's so funny. It's a little cute little bell, and we were making jokes about Julian because, like I say, Julian's quite grumpy. But like when at first he was just like. He's like, oh, I love the bell. I love the bell. It's such a beautiful bell. It reminds me of such a nice sound. And then by the end of the season, I would ding, ding. He'd be like, Sharif. And then I'd be like, Sharif. It was just so funny. And we were all laughing about the bell and about how I brought the bell, you know, with me. And then I said, oh, this is how I introduced the magic. I remember now. I said, oh, do you know the other thing about the bell is that the bell is magic. And I was doing obviously all this in French, but I was like, the bell is magic. When you ding the bell, magic happens. And they were like, really? So I put the bell down and said, Anais, you ding the bell. And I was like, look, and I brought out, let me see if I can do something, because, you know, you've done the bell, right? So then I pull out and I do Rejoined Express, and, you know, and that was it. And I've got like these two pieces of paper. I said, wouldn't it be cool if we could do something that would be impossible? I said, why don't you ding the bell? You know, I say, fail ding dong, magic. And then I'm like, what? So I really leaned into this. So every like effect that I performed, I would be like, right, now ding the bell, and then something magic would happen. And it was so cool. It was almost like Pavlov conditioning. It was fucking brilliant, man. I was so proud of myself because this was like really quite a spontaneous thing that I brought out. But yeah, just like, okay, anytime you want to see some magic, ding the bell.
Well, I think, did we speak about this before? That like, I'm sure it's like Eric Mead and Paul Harris were talking about using the bell for Pavlovian conditioning, but for stress with magic. Have you heard about this?
Really? No.
So, and I'm paraphrasing and probably getting the details muddled up, but they said like the unique thing about magic is that unlike other art forms or other experiences, the moment you experience magic, your brain switches off. And all you can think about is that moment. For example, if you take a coin, a 20 pence piece, it goes in the hand. The moment that hand is opened and the coin's gone, the brain shuts down, and they're like that's the moment of astonishment. It's called in Paul Harris's like Art of Astonishment book, the essay of astonishment. That's the moment of astonishment. What they looked into or sort of thought about was doing this study or this program where, because if say you've got like I think their examples were like, say you've got you've had a parking ticket, or you can't afford to pay a bill, or bills arrive that you're like, oh my god, I can't afford to pay it, or you've had a really crap day in work, or whatever it is. The moment you experience that trick, you can't think about that shit for the next 5 minutes, maybe 5 seconds, maybe 50 minutes, because you are just, your brain is trying to decipher between illusion and reality. And they said, wouldn't it be interesting that you do a magic show, and every time the moment of astonishment happens, so I don't know, the moment the snap chain happens, the bell rings exactly, yeah, so at the exact same time, 3, 2, 1, bing, right? And then another trick happens. Maybe when you spread the deck and all the cards are the right way, you time it so that bing, it's all the right way. Yeah, exactly. And you do that, and I feel like I'm ready. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, right? That happens. And that happens throughout the entire show. Every time the exact moment of magic happens, you play the bell. At the end of the show, everyone gets given a bell to go home with.
Oh, nice.
And the next time something happens that would send them off into a spiral, or they'd start to have a little panic attack, just to bring them out of that moment, the idea was that they would bing.
Yeah,
and it sort of take them back to that moment where they were in that heightened sense of astonishment. Take a beat, and then suddenly you can calm yourself down and like, okay, let's evaluate the situation and try and move forward. Fascinating concept, totally in line with what you were saying. I don't know if they ever did the study or not, but I thought it was brilliant.
Well, I just did it accidentally.
Because you're a genius.
I thought, wow, you're bigging me up, man. But like, thank you. But yeah, I just bought the bell because I thought it'd be funny, and then yeah. So I followed up with I told you I did the mentalism script in French, which was great. Again, I stumbled through it, but I did it with this girl Luna, and she's only 19 years old, and she loves magic, right? And I did I did the mentalism script where the Pete Turner one, which I've alluded to before on the channel, where it's basically, so it's the way I introduce the cards. I'm like, look, I'm going to try something with you. It might not work, but you seem like someone that's got a lot of intuition, but sometimes you like struggle to trust yourself when it comes to trusting that intuition. And she's young and impressionable, and she was like, oh my god, yes, that resonates with me so much. It's such a sort of Barnum statement, but I'm like, woohoo, got me a Marlin. I'm like,
we'll roll with it.
So I said, look, I'm going to think of a card, and I just want you to pick up on the card, but just make your mind go blank. I just want you to think of the color, okay? Now, I just want you to trust yourself. I think that you're thinking of the wrong color, so trust yourself right now and just change your mind and think of a different color. She's like, okay, and then think of the suit, and then any one of the values. And then you're thinking, okay, so now you should have a card in mind. And she's like, okay, I've got a card in mind. Then I bring out the deck. I say, look, what I want you to do is I just want you to find your card in the deck. Okay, so she's like, okay. So she goes through and she's like, okay, where is it? This one. So she finds it and she's like, okay. I was like, just pop it down in front of me. So she just pops it down on the table. Okay. And then I just say, interestingly enough, when you first thought of a card, you were thinking of a red card. And she was like, oh. And I was like, I'm really hoping that you changed your mind to a black card. And she's like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, everyone else at the table is like leaning in, like, what the hell? What the hell? Oh. And I said, so I was thinking of le pique, which is the spade, like in French, le pique. And she was like, yeah. So all of a sudden, I've got the suit correct. And I'm like, okay, that's amazing. Now you've picked up on this. So I'm trying to reinforce the fact that she's used her intuition. And I was like, now out of all of the numbers, the one that I was thinking of was the 3. And she was like, oh, no way. Oh my God. It is. Have a look. And I was like, what, really? Like this one? And she's like, yes. And I was like, by this time, everyone at the table was like, what the hell, man? Like it was just boom. And it was so cool, man. I absolutely loved it. It was, and the fact that I did it in French, I was like really impressed with myself because it stretched my linguistic capabilities. But you don't have to be like perfectly smooth like Pete Turner. You just have to be understood, right? And it's not hard to be like, you're using your intuition to pick up on a card that I'm thinking of, and then obviously.
Do you know what's cool is that like you could almost lean into it. You could say like, now I don't speak fluent French. Like you are born French, you are fluent, but what I'm trying to do is connect with you mentally, and what we do speak the same language that we do speak is emotion and tone up here. So although we may not be saying the same words out loud, I can still hopefully pick up on your intentions. You know what I mean? So you can sort of say like the language, you could use it as part of the effect of the presentation that everyone feels the same inside. They just don't have the same words to express it.
She was blown away. and so was everyone else at the table. And then I was like, well, I'm going to lean into OmniDeck from here. And I told you before I use the OmniDeck as a peak device, right? So I said, okay, next I want you to make a failure design, like make a drawing on the card, but not something obvious like a smiley face or a plant, just something, So she draws a snail, right? And then this again. Thank you to Reed Ferry for what he taught me. I got one of the best reactions because of not just the fact that, oh, I'm picking up on something. It's like it's alive. Did you draw a snail? Like no. I was like, I'm thinking I've got like what could. And I was like thinking, what is it? Is it some sort of life force? And I used my arms, and I was like, it's smaller, isn't it? It's actually much smaller. It's smaller. In fact, it's kind of like this. It's like this small, right? And she's like, oh, and everyone, because she's shown the design to everyone, and everyone's like, what the hell? I'm like, it's quite a small thing, right? And it's got a life force to it, and it's like this, kind of like this, and I was like, escargot, and she's like, what the hell? And even just the whole. Like I said, like I've alluded to in the past, like getting the peak and doing the reveal, there's such a grey area there, which can be so much more convincing than if you just be like, snail.
Yeah, it's the liminal space between A and Z where for me, like magic exists. Like that is like you said, the grey area. That's where you can have fun. That's where you can start to expand it and make a tiny, write it down, peak it. That's a small effect, right? But you can blow that up to mammoth proportions just by having fun and getting interactive and oh man, yeah.
So good.
Did you start just freaking out?
Completely. So yeah, everyone was like, "Whoa, that's amazing!" And I was like, "Oh, because we've already made the connection, with the card. Like I can tap into you now." And she is like hook, line, and sinker. She is totally believing that we have this like psychic connection, which is so lovely. It's such a beautiful moment to share. Yeah, it was just everyone was like really into it. Everyone was drawn in. Like at first, we were like, "Oh, what's the bell? What's going on?" And then all of a sudden, people were like, "Fuck, magic's happening! It's amazing!" And I'm conditioning them with the bell. So I said, so I do the Omni deck, and I said, "Oh, would it be impressive if I could pull your card out of the deck?" And they were like, "Yeah." I was like, "I think that would warrant a real round of applause, right?" I was like, "Okay, here we go." Ooh. And they're like, "Oh, we'll give you a round of applause anyway." I was like, "Oh, give me one more chance. And I was like, "Oh, I think that's it." I was like, "Oh yeah, you drew a snail. I can see it now." And they're like, "Oh my god, he drew it." And they're like, "Yay!" And again, the Omni deck. I'm still holding her hands, right? And I'm saying, "Oh, is there any way that I could make this trick better?" And they were like, "No, that was amazing. There's absolutely no way." I was like, "Well, I don't know. I feel like maybe I could do some real magic. Like what if I could make the deck disappear?" And they were like, "What? Like that would be amazing." And then I was like, "Fail a ding dong." And I got someone else to ding the bell. And I was like, "Well," and they were like, "What?"
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, it was cool.
Whoa. Surely you didn't continue after that.
I did actually, but I left it for a while. What did I do after that? I did. Again, I left it. I was like, I'll leave that because I'll let them marinate in there. I don't want to be like, oh, and here's another trick. I was like, oh, we can just marinate in the moment. Everyone was like, I don't have the Omni deck, but they were like holding it up, like, what the hell? How did it? Like, where have the cards gone? Like, like, as a magician, you're like, obviously I've switched it right earlier, but they are literally looking at it. They're like, where have the cards gone? And you forget that in their mind the cards have changed, right? Yes. I haven't just. They haven't reverse engineered it. They haven't switched. They haven't been like, oh, when he turned his back, he must have, pocketed it and switched it.
I wish there was a pill that magicians could take that would switch off their own brain.
Yeah.
Because I think it would allow us to, like, in terms of like feeling guilty and having magician's guilt or thinking, there's no way they're going to fall for this. Because if we could do that, it would allow us to perform so much more daring magic with complete conviction, with complete belief in it. But yeah, that's the thing. For us, we know the deck was switched 10 minutes ago, but they, in their mind, they are normally, in the case of the Omni deck, they try to attack the method from like this moment, I remember I had the cards in my hand. So that, like, normally that's a certainty, right? I had the cards in my hand, A, because I felt them, B, because I seen Fred take the cards out. I would say I seen the 3 of spades, I seen the wrong card. So if I'm going to try and figure this out, how did at what point did they change? Ah, well, he must have somehow used a chemical that clears the cards, or that's where people, it sounds ridiculous to say out loud, but unless you've ever performed, which you have, that's where people minds go, because they start from the wrong point normally, trying to work out methods. They just cut in way too late in the day, and by that point you've already robbed the bank.
Yeah. It was absolutely phenomenal, man. So we forget, and I think that it's worth just doubling down on that, because we do forget that they don't reverse engineer it. They just kept passing it around as if. And I remember thinking, they actually think that the cards have changed into this, and I'm like, wow, I'm just going to let them marinate in this for a bit, because it's all good. Another thing I did was, when I got the cards out of the deck, I said, oh, we won't need all the cards, and I just left 3 cards in the deck. So I said, oh, well, now the cards have all gone. I guess we can't do any more magic.
They're in Julian's car.
I said, oh, we can't do any more magic, right? So again, I let them marinate in it, and I said, after a while, I was like, I forgot we do have these 3 cards. We have we have these 3 cards, and you can, well, you know exactly what I'm going to do right now, right? So I've left three, and luckily, oh man, when one of the guys grabbed the cards and he looked at them, and luckily he looked at them, this way around. I don't want to give anything away, but I guess it's just magicians that are listening at the moment. But I was like, oh,
no layperson's got this far into the podcast.
But I said, oh, let's try something. I said, I'll tell you what, and this is what I leaned into the storytelling. It was a little bit spontaneous. I was like, look, the ace, that's you, Luna. I was like, and what we're going to do is we're going to play a game. We're going to be like, where is Luna? Okay, so look, as you can see, we're going to, and I did, was it the 3 card Monty? Is that what this is called?
Yeah.
So I went into I won't need to go into it, but I went into it and I was like, where's Luna? Instead of like, where's the red ace? I was like, where's Luna? Oh, Luna's there. I was like, no. Elle est pas là, elle est là. And they're like, oh, and they're like, it was so cool. And so then apparently I did an impossible trick with just the 3 cards that were left in the deck. And I think that's interesting how people say, I don't like packet tricks, because why would you just carry around 3 cards? But if I've just left 3 cards in the deck, like accidentally, then you pull them out, it doesn't look like a packet trick. It looks like,
that's It's so smart. Yeah.
Very simple but beautiful convincer.
It's so, yeah. Do you know, I've never thought of it in that way. I used to keep a couple of cards in my wallet, and what would be the thing I would say was something like, these are cards I just picked up after practicing and I dropped them or something. But to do it with the box and be like, oh, these were just left in, or I didn't realize. It's such a smart way to add them in completely organically, with zero suspicion whatsoever. We were supposed to be jamming today, and I have so many ideas. Wouldn't it be fun just thinking of the invisible deck, the Omni deck, right? Imagine the first trick you did would be the 3 of spades thing, right? Which you can't force. But instead of having to assign the snail, draw the snail on the 3 of spades, you got to pick out a different card, right? But you force it, okay? And then somewhere else you have a duplicate deck with that forced card missing. Right, so you do the 3 of spades trick or whatever it's going to end up being. You say, oh, let's do something else. This time I want you to draw on a card. So just grab any card out. It doesn't matter. Just draw on it. Force the card, right? And you do it. Now you go to your Omni deck, peek, and blah, blah, blah. And the deck vanishes afterwards. And then if you're in the position where you want to keep performing, but you don't have the deck, it would be so cool if you had that duplicate deck loaded elsewhere, but with the missing card in it as the convincer. So you say, oh, they've teleported, actually. I've actually put them... if you've got, maybe you force the location, like, oh, here's a list of a bunch of places in the house, like kitchen, bar, whatever. Pick a number between 1 and 20, whatever it's going to be. You force it. You say, okay, go and ask the barman if you got a deck of cards. It comes back with the deck, and you say, oh, okay, but if that's the same deck, then there should be a card missing. And it's in like new deck order. They go through, and that forced card is the one that you say, oh, brilliant, put it back in. Let's continue.
Amazing.
Could you imagine being a layperson, how much that would freak you out?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I wanted to tell the stories, and then we could lean into jamming. Like again, like that idea. I've thought about sharing it on the channel before, but I didn't really know how to. I would make a whole video about it. But the fact that people have said in the past, "Oh, I don't like packet tricks," because I'm like, well, don't make it look like a packet trick.
Yeah. Do you know my bigger issue with packet tricks has always been the general handling of them. So I talk about this so much. It's one of those things that I keep going on about. Magicians tend to change how they perform sometimes for the certain trick, and they then become the gimmick to the audience, or they then become one entire flash. I was speaking about it in like yesterday's video, and I talked about it in my lecture. But for example, the example I used in yesterday's video was like when we're magicians, right? We tend to shuffle like this or like this, yeah. But then it comes to a certain trick, like a triumph, and we need to do a different shuffle. And suddenly we start shuffling in different ways where we're doing like slop shuffles and things, right? Which instantly is not. I mean, realistically, if you wanted to shuffle cards face up and face down, you would just turn half up, half down, and just do that, right? That's how they would imagine it. So the moment you do something out of sorts, you stand out, or your moves stand out like a sore thumb. And the other example I use is like double lift. Sometimes, right, you could double lift like this, right? But the moment it comes to doing a single card, some people will just do that, or they'll just turn it over like that. And if you're not consistent in your moves, suddenly it stands out, right? Do you get what I'm saying? So, like,
That was a really good double lift. I've never seen that before. That was incredible. What was that?
I have no idea. I just get a pinky break under 2.
Yeah.
And then you pick up like that and just snap it.
That's so cool.
It's cool, right? But
we can't just glance over that, Lloyd. You just blow my mind with that double lift. That's incredible.
Really?
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
The point that I'm making is, it feels nice to do it with a double.
That's so convincing. Oh my god.
I think that's quite convincing too, to push a single card forward, but it's not. You're doing this. You know, because if you are going to push a single card forward, that looks normal, which is a single. But if you want to do it as a double, you want to like get that same image as well. You know. Anyway, right. The point that I'm making.
Bravo.
No, it's not good.
That was incredible. I've never seen that before in my life. You just blew my mind. I know you want to breeze past that. I just want to linger on that for a second. That's the coolest double lift I've ever seen. That was so cool.
But the point is, right, say it is a cool double lift, right? It's kind of cool, but it's not
incredible.
You wouldn't do that with you would not want to do that with, it doesn't feel the same to do it with a single card versus a double. It just doesn't feel, I don't know, it feels kind of odd.
I honestly think you might be stuck in a magician lizard brain at moment, because that looked so cool to me. That looks so cool.
There's some amazing double lifts out there. This is not mine. This is my favorite one. It's just and that's a double. Isn't that one? So this is by, I can't remember the guy's name. It's a German creator. And you get it just right. So you do this. Oh, I didn't. Wait, let me get some better angles. And that's a double.
Yeah.
So it's like it's to do with like getting air in the card. You get air in it, push down, and then release, and it just like slides as one. I don't know. Anyway, right. The point that I'm making is the problem with packet tricks is that like, if you should try and look consistent when you perform. So I like packet tricks, but I dislike the way most packet tricks are done. In that, if a magician was doing like a 4 ace trick, so they're going to deal 4 aces from the deck, they would go through, blah blah blah, go around the card. They go through, and then they would show everyone, hey, here's the 4 aces. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, or they would do this. So say a magician does a 4 ace trick and then maybe a 4 random card reveal, but it ends up being a birthday, like 28th of the 8th, 2888, or whatever. But then when it comes to a packet trick, the way they've been holding 4 cards and counting 4 cards all the way through the rest of their magic now changes to like this stuff. You know? And suddenly, no matter how good they are or proficient they are at it, it doesn't matter because they are flashing. Because suddenly they're doing something not natural that stands out. And it's being exposed. So that's the only point I would say with. I really like the idea. I mean, one of my favorite tricks of all time is Paul Harris's Bizarre Twist. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh my good gosh! You haven't seen Bizarre Twist?
No, it doesn't ring a bell. But my point is, I think you might be overthinking it a little bit because, like you say, you're looking at it from a magician. If you I understand if you consume a lot of magic content and all of a sudden someone's doing exactly what you said, you're like, oh, I know exactly what he's doing. You know exactly what he's doing. I know exactly what he's doing. 99% of the population do not.
I know. It is entirely a me issue. It's not so much, but what I'm saying is, it's not that I don't like. I like packaging. I like the magic. I just dislike most people's approach to creating new ones. I think people, you know. But I'm coming at it from a creativity point of view. By the way, Bizarre Twist. Have you ever seen it? And this is the funnest trick ever, right? So. We'll use these 3 cards. So I've got this has got my granddad's date of birth on it, and 2 jacks. Okay, so the idea is I'm going to take the date of birth, I'm going to put it
Yeah.
in between the two jacks, right?
Yeah.
And if you watch, if I spin it, it turns face up.
What?
See? Isn't that quite cool? Look, we'll do it again. So you take the date of birth.
Yeah.
Okay, you can see it there.
Yeah.
And if I hold it, shake, it turns face up. But isn't that nuts? But I know what you're thinking. It must be like a fast finger flicking motion, right? Like I'm twisting the cards around or something. So this time I want you to watch a little bit closer, Fred.
Yeah.
Ready? If I shake this time, it actually turns
What?
blue.
Yes, Lloyd. Yes. Oh, that was great.
Bizarre twist by Paul Harris. And it's my favorite packet trick in the world because it looks nothing like a packet trick. It's completely
Yeah.
impromptu apart from needing the cards. And
I
it's
love
super
that.
visual.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, man. That's great. Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
I love
That's really
packet
cool.
tricks. I like them when they're handled more organically. That's all. That's my whole point.
Yeah. Well, see, now we're jamming.
Jamming with my
So,
bass, man.
my double lift is, again, I've it's quite rubbish, but yeah, this is like, it can be like, again, just ruined it there, but like, yeah. So this is it. This is how I do it. Like, okay, so you've this is your 3, right? And what we're going to do is if you hold on to that 3, or we'll put it somewhere where you can see it, there, and then and then we'll take another card, like the Joker, for example. The Joker is a very special card because if I take the Joker and I wave it over this card, they change places.
Good.
I mean, that's
I
just a
still get a
simple
buzz. I still get a buzz from tricks like that. See, the thing is, like, people listen. I think there's such an inherent issue in so much of Magic now. Is because I think a lot of it comes down to like the consumerism of Magic. Is that there's so much effort put into, or so much focus put into people trying to be. And I understand you should always try and improve yourself as a skilled performer in every area, including your sleight of hand, right? But it comes to a point where, like, you understand that Magic is really about performing and connecting. Like,
Yeah.
you understand that more than anyone I've ever met. And you can't sell that as a product. You can't put that into some sort of you can't really bottle that up and try and sell it. So there's this whole like culture online of like, I don't know the word it is, shaming people or trying to make people put so much emphasis onto their slides that there are some people out there that would rather people spend all their time mastering slides versus actually just forgetting, obviously be able to do it from A to Z, but actually focus on what's important. And I've totally fallen victim to that trap over the years where I've put so much. If I put 1/10 of the time of my focus into getting good at slides as I had done into performing, I would be as good as you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's very kind of. Well, you keep saying that, it makes me blush, but like, it's very kind.
But it's so true because especially as a creator, I fall victim into the trap then of losing sight of what's important when it comes to creating. And I start to, well, what if I did a double lift like this, or what if I did? And really actually been thinking, how can I get the most juice out of the squeeze when it comes to seeing my next potential lay person?
Do you know what I think your next story arc is, Lloyd? Is you are a wonderful creator. You have an incredible sleight of hand, and you're literally like doing these incredible double lifts that are literally blowing my mind right now. But do you know what I think that you could learn so much from is performing. Like if you just perform 2 people and then you realize that like it doesn't, like the sleight of hand doesn't matter, like the misdirection, like there's so many magical moments that can blow people's mind even with like a simple transposition. And as well as I do, that is one of the best magical tricks you could ever do. It's like they hold the card and then all of a sudden they change places, and it is.
Do you know, I went out, what day is it today? I went out Monday. I took my kid for a big fun day out, and we went to like a bunch of places. But I took a thumb tip with me and I put it in my pocket for the whole day, just on the off chance. I was ready and willing to do magic. And I didn't have my t-shirt on, unfortunately, but nobody would have seen it because it was freezing. So I had a jumper and a jacket on top. But I was ready and willing to do. I don't know. A big part of it for me was I used to perform a lot. I used to perform magic a hell of a lot, but I I used to drink. I haven't drunk for 5 years, coming up on 5 years. But I was super sociable, like really, really sociable. So a couple of times a week I would be out and I'd be doing stuff and all the time. And then COVID hit and I went sober. And it's had like apart from all the positives it's had in my life, it's had this massive adverse effect where I've just become a hermit. So I did used to perform quite a lot. And I do have a fair amount of... if you watch me on like the Fuller episodes, you can see like I'm fairly confident when I perform.
But yeah,
It's just, for some reason, I just don't find myself in the position where it's opening... Performances are opening up for me like they used to be. And the big one is that I like the whole performing to a complete stranger is the one hurdle. It's the one thing where I'm a bag of nerves, like just to be like, hey, do you want to? Because my whole ethos for magic has always been that it's something like the Julian situation for you is ideal because it's like, oh, I'm not expecting this to happen, or blah, blah, blah. So it goes against my entire ethos, but I have to do it. Like it's a thing. And that's why I took the thumb tip out with me the other day, just on the off chance I was in that right perfect moment to show someone something. I keep like having these weird like fantasy scenarios where I'm like, oh, imagine like the waiter come over and I was like, hey man, just watch this or something. And I think, oh my God, Lloyd, shut the heck up, man.
The thing is, like, sometimes the first step on your journey, it can be a cringy one, but like you don't have to like film it or put it on the internet. It just be like, oh yeah, I had this cringy moment where I showed the waiter something, like the salt, anything. My next couple of tricks as I really want to practice is sponge balls and thumb tip magic, because sponge balls, I don't know if you saw the release from Penguin Magic, the masterclass on sponge balls from the guy who fooled Penn and Teller.
With the long hair?
Yeah.
I was looking at getting this.
I sent
That's
that
the
to
reason I
Cavan
know
Booth
it.
because Cavan Booth was like, oh, I really want to perform sponge balls, but it's one of those tricks where I absolutely hate it. And I was like, I think that you will fall in love with it if you try it. So I challenged him on the podcast. He's like, right, challenge accepted. I will do sponge balls this weekend. Spoiler alert, he didn't do it. But yeah, just like even just like little things. I know it sounds really cheesy, but like, is there something behind your ear, Lloyd? What is that like?
Oh, dandruff.
Oh, look at that! It's a little sponge rabbit. It's just so silly, but like it's such a. I mean, how organic is that, right? I mean, I know it might sound a bit. I mean, there's probably you're like 50-50 like that's awful, cheesy, and cringy. But you could just be like, even to a child, like, oh, is there something behind your ear? Like, oh,
dude, it's honestly, I went through a whole phase of being obsessed with sponge balls because they get such insane reactions. Like right. There's an offset of the reactions you get versus what they are. But there's some interesting thoughts from people as well about other objects you can use. So I think it was Jeff Price had the idea of using, older headphones would have little foam protectors over them, and you could take the foam protectors off. So you could use I think he won a competition because he suggested you could use those instead of sponge balls to be more organic in the moment.
Yeah.
French. James Shaddy, a French magician of mine, I saw him once in a party. There was a little girl, and he was like, "Little girl, give me your socks." And he took his socks off and did sponge balls with socks. And she was like, "What?"
No way.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah.
So kids' socks are perfect as well, especially if you're going to do it to kids.
Again, I don't think it needs to be overthought. Like if you bring out sponge balls, like Cavan said the same thing. It's like, why would I bring out a silly clown nose? Like, what is the excuse for that? I'm like, for the sake of it, because you're a magician. Like, for God's sake, man. Like, so I want to learn sponge balls and I want to learn thumb tip magic because there's so many different magic tricks available. And again, I think they're amazing. Oh my God. As underperforming hobbyists, we get so inundated with the latest and greatest. But oh my God, I saw a routine of a guy at a car wash doing thumb tip magic, right? And he was just at a car wash and he was doing like this hanky thing. He kind of looked a bit like a drug addict, if I'm honest, like a homeless guy. But he did the most amazing thing where he like he went around to the guy and he pulled the handkerchief through the windscreen of the car, and it was just using a thumb tip, but like it was a fantastic routine, like spontaneous with a hanky at a car wash. He was obviously doing it to try and get some money, maybe to buy drugs. Who cares? It was an absolutely phenomenal routine, right? It was a phenomenal routine. And I was like, what the hell? And that was all with a thumb tip and a hanky, right? And I was like, wow, I can't do that. Like, I just buy my magic off the internet.
I like the routine of so you basically, so the effect is you take a sugar packet, tear it open, pour the sugar into your hand, put the pieces in, blow, and then it's a restored sugar packet. Have you seen that one? Yeah, basic method is like put the fully restored packet in your hand, and then the thumb tip as you go in, and now just tear it open, pour all the contents into the thumb tip, and then reveal the restored one. I remember years ago, man. So the first trick that I started, one of the first tricks I can ever remember performing. Before I used to perform loads of magic before I was like a teenager, before I got embarrassed a lot, and my grandfather showed me loads. The first trick that I really remember like actually getting reactions from, I remember doing it to my cousin Leighton, who was a lot older than me, and a bunch of adults, was a thumb tip. And I actually remember there's a local holiday park just behind my house, and I remember being on the bowling alley there. I must have been about 6 or 7. Had a thumb tip, and I had a little tiny red silk. And I did the effect, and it vanished. I remember him freaking out, and then I wouldn't tell him how it was done, and he got a bit annoyed. He was a lot older than me, like 10 years older than me, and he was going around asking everyone. I was showing different people, and nobody could figure it out. And that was like one of the first memories I have of magic, and it was the thumb tip, and the power of it is through the roof.
Yeah.
There's a funny story, which is I lost that thumb tip because we were driving somewhere in the car, and I was just being a kid, and I had it in my mouth like this, and I said something, and I went and spat it out, and it went straight out the window of the car.
Oh no!
With the silk inside it, yeah. And I remember crying,
Yeah.
"Oh, my thumb tip's gone!" I remember stopping. We were on a hill, and I remember my mum stopped the car, looking for it. It was gone, completely gone.
Oh,
but
no.
that was my first foray. But yeah, it's funny. I took that out of me just on the off chance I could see a packet of sugar to make vanish. And there's a lovely move as well. I think it's a Roy Benson move, which is instead of doing the classic thing where you load it and do that, which is once you, I don't know how to put inside it.
I think it's like this, right? So you just like pop it in, and then
So the Roy Benson thing
that was
is
awful. Sorry, I haven't practiced. Any.
The Roy Benson move is really good because it makes it look a little bit more organic. So imagine I have something. This is a piece of wax paper, so it goes in to the thumb tip like that, right? Okay, so it's not on me, and now I can just say watch. And it goes, and so the move is that once it like goes in, you kick it back to there.
Yeah.
So now you never have to do this thing. Instead, you can just come over and do like a magical wave, or whatever it's going to be. And I don't know. I like that. And I think it was Ben Williams who showed me another convincer is to reveal your hands empty like that. So instead of being like this,
oh yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
it kind of
points
sticks
out
like a sore thumb. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Man,
That's actually pretty. Well, I think I spat on the lens. What is that? Oh yeah.
The Lloyd and Fred Bukkake party.
I've never done that one. But that's actually really fun.
Yeah, they're not going to suspect it, are they?
Yeah. I've got my sponge rabbit stuck inside the thumb tip now. Anyway, I'll have to get that later. But yeah, that was fun, man. Yeah, I like I say, I think the thumb tip is one of those, you know, when you see someone like really proficient at the thumb tip and you're like, I've got one of these, and all it takes is a lot of practice. Like, what the hell? Like, and you know, you spend loads and loads of money on magic tricks that you don't get used, and you're like, this has got the potential to be one of the most fooling, amazing, impromptu things that you can carry on you at all times, like you said, and. Yeah, so this is my next thing I want to do, and then
I mean, like, if you think about the power, like it's so important to try and remove method and focus on effect, which I think you do as well as anyone I've ever seen. And like with something, for example, you could vanish, you tear a corner off a napkin, and underneath someone's cup, you've preloaded the duplicate corner or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But just being able to have that thought of, all right, so here's what I'm going to do. The napkin goes in the hand, vanishes, and now it's under your cup. To us magicians, that's a really like, to us magicians, that like other magicians would sort of like potentially look down their nose, like, oh, well, I would do double cross, or I would do extreme move. But when you think about it, remove method and focus on effect. That is fucking astonishing to a layperson.
Yeah.
That is magic. His hands, he put it in his hands, it completely vanished, it was gone, and it was under my cup, or it was in my bag, or whatever it's going to be, or it's completely restored. That is as good as opposed to real magic, because there's no explanation for a thumb tip to a layperson.
Yeah.
It's the most bizarre thing, you know?
Especially with the right misdirection. And even if you get caught, Craig Petty says a lot of cool things like, "Oh yeah, well done, yeah. I mean, magic's not real, you know, whatever." And then he'll do something else. Like, I think people got to get over the fact that if you, I don't know, again, it will go under the radar with a lot of practice. But even if you do get caught, it's not the end of the world. It's just magic, right? I think that's why I wanted to like drill into you. Like you've put this like performing to a stranger on a pedestal, and I
I
think once
have.
you do it, like in the rearview mirror, it will be like, oh, why didn't I do this sooner? Like it's actually not as bad as I thought it was. You know, just ask someone if they want to see a magic trick. Normally they're like, hell yeah, I want to see a magic trick. Then you do like loads of magic. Like again, even if I just brought the bell out and be like, oh, every time you hear the bell, it's magic. You know, like does anyone want to see a magic trick? You know, and then it's so cheesy. But then all of a sudden,
I thought you were going to load it under the chop cup at the end. I'm like, okay, for the final reveal, like someone. Okay, so it's like, okay, one final time, someone press the bell. Where's the bell?
oh, that's so good. That's so good. Oh, that's jamming. Now that's jamming.
Do you know what I think would be a good trick or something to jam on would be? You mentioned earlier the magic of getting someone off their phone.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So you said to them, do you want to see something cool? And they put their phone down. Wouldn't it be cool if you, like, in the same vein that you initiate that card effect before the deck comes out into play with the peak turner line? What if you, I mean, it could be as simple as this, but essentially initiating the trick via their phone. So, like, text them, think of a playing card, or think of red or black. You know, so you start off on your phones together or on their phone, and then it transpires to the point where it's like, they end up putting their phone away and they're into the trick and they don't realize they're into the trick.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. So I found out something recently. I know it, you probably you might have heard of it, but if you put two iPhones together, they go boom and they connect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could have like a
Transfer
card
information.
reveal. Like for example, last night I also did Trilogy Extreme, and I was going to do the whole boo and airdrop the reveal, but in the end I thought it would be a bit more powerful to do it this way. So instead, I was like, right, I'll get a billet out, and I said, like, what we're going to do is, in a minute, I'm going to try and think of it, and I sort of pretended I was reading them, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna, and then I think, and then I wrote it down, and I thought it was a little bit more powerful than like sending them a picture that was already on my phone. Because then I said, right, now Luna, you keep hold of that and make sure I can't touch it until the end of the trick, okay? And now she's holding on to this. I folded it up. And then she's like, okay. So then I do the whole, you think of an even number, you think of an odd number, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. And now you unfold the piece of paper. And then at the end, I was like, now you can keep that. And she's like, oh, and then she keeps the souvenir, even though it's just like it was just a reminder of the trick. I thought it was a little bit more powerful than sending her the picture.
Yeah, anytime you can just sort of make something physical. And I think more so than ever, realistically, like with the era of AI, I think performing magic is getting stronger. Anything you can do that keeps things off screen and tangible is going to be that much more powerful. I'm going back to this idea of starting the trick on their phone. Sorry. I love what you said about the thing. Imagine it could be something along the lines of you text someone, I'm going to send you a text, right, Fred? Hey, Fred, how's it going? Tell me red or black. Tell me red or black.
Okay, yeah, red.
I knew that. Tell me hearts or diamonds.
Diamonds.
Oh, amazing. I knew that too. Tell me a number between 1 and 13.
7.
No way. Everybody says that. Do you want to change your mind or do you want to stick with what you said?
No, I'll stick with what I said.
Cool. Let's touch tips. And I bring out my phone. And this is in the back of my, so I load this into my phone, maybe from an index or whatever. I load this in, because if you keep your phone case open, you can load stuff in it or whatever. So it goes in. So now we bring phones out and we go, and then I send you another text, look under my phone case, and inside it's the 7 of diamonds or something.
That's cool. I like that.
But it's interestingly, it's just the idea of a trick that starts looking away at their phone. So start the trick on it could be something way better than that. It probably should be something way better than that. But
I like where you're going with it, though. I like where you're going with it. I think what I like to do is just I like snapping them off of it, though, because I want to. I don't know. The phones are such a draw, and I just want to. I like being analog. It's just so nice. It's just refreshing to have like some analog time.
Yeah. What if it was just like simple? Like if you want to see a magic trick, put your phone away and just wait to see what they do.
Yeah, I like that. Well, you should try that.
That's what I'm thinking of, ways that I can like segue into a trick without feeling like a clown.
The weather is warming up, Lloyd. You can wear your t-shirt out a bit more,
That's true. I'm definitely going to wear it this summer.
You'll get there, man. I have
The
full
problem,
faith
the
in
problem
you.
is, what if I did a trick to someone? I feel like this is therapy. What if I did a trick to someone at my favorite coffee shop and then I fuck it up and I have to see them again?
Oh God, what would ever happen? Oh my goodness, Lloyd. Oh, you'd probably die.
Do you think?
You'd probably die. Yeah. The oh goodness me. Oh no, that magician, the guy who came into the coffee shop, and oh, you probably have to never go back there again.
Do you know that would be the case, though? I think.
No,
Maybe.
it wouldn't. It wouldn't. No, like people, you forget, like any sort of awkward social situation, people think about themselves way more than they think about you. Like they'll forget that, and you'll overthink it, but no, everyone else will forget it.
You're right. You are right. I'm just being a puss.
Also, what gives you is there any sort of credible evidence that you're going to mess up a trick? When's the last time you messed up a trick? Exactly.
I messed up a trick in my Belfast lecture. One trick, I think. But
well, you're a human being, man. You're a human being, and sometimes I think it's fun. Like sometimes if you mess up a trick, it can just be like a very human moment, you know.
Yeah, it gives you an arc, I suppose. My favorite trick. I'm thinking back to the stuff that I used to do. I think my favorite trick to perform is loading a 10p piece somewhere and then having a copper. Have you seen the 2p, 10p locking coins you can get for like 20 quid? They're perfect, like they're literally perfect. So I would do a bunch of different things. Sometimes I'd load it in people's watches. Sometimes I'd just put it under their beer coaster or like behind them. But I would literally just put the 2 coins in my hand, the copper and the silver one, and I would say, I close them and just say, name one for us to use. And it doesn't matter what they'd name. If they said the copper, I'd say, fine, we'll use the copper. If they said the silver, I'd say, fine, we'll use silver. And either way, lock it in, and then you have the world's cleanest vanish. Let them examine the coin because they can, and then just have it reappear. Literally no sleight of hand, no moves, no method to find because they can examine the 2p. I used to do that so much. I was like, I need to start carrying that with me again, just to be able to like. There's no pressure with that trick. It can't go wrong.
I think your perfectionism is manifesting as procrastination.
God, it is. It really is.
It really is.
Also, I'm a scatterbrain as well, so like
You are.
I can't.
You sent me a video, like you're like, oh Fred, yes, like, and then you're like, oh my God, the bag's under my eyes. What was I going to say? Get lost.
I know and so I have like 20 different conversations at once. But yeah, I think the problem with that is that like I think of what I'll do as a trick, and then I think about 10 different other tricks I would do, and then I get I'll go and look and learn that again and things.
See, this is the thing, and I think this is what resonates a lot with underperforming hobbyists, is that we're always searching for the perfect trick. Oh, maybe that trick, and there's so many tricks, so many magicians, or should I say, underperforming hobbyists I've got Trilogy Extreme, I've never used it, but now I might, seeing as I've seen use it. I'm like, it's one of the easiest, most bulletproof fooling tricks ever. I've put it on a pedestal as like probably like the holy grail of tricks. It's so easy and so utterly fooling, and they're like, I might use that.
I can't fully remember what the effect is.
You want me to perform it to you? Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, I would be so grateful if you could. I remember seeing the release 10, 15 years ago. Is that about right?
So interestingly enough, is what I said to the people in the comments. I was like, look, it's completely sold out now. Like you can't even buy it. Like Harry Nardi did a limited release recently, and if you've got a version of Trilogy Extreme and it's collecting dust, it's a crime against magic. You know what I mean? You can't even buy them anymore. So if you've got one, it's like a limited edition, right? Stop being.
I genuinely think I have one. I genuinely think I have one because I remember having a clear Ziploc bag, and I think it's in there, but I can't remember what the trick fully is.
All right, Lloyd, I'm gonna send you a picture on your phone. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I don't want you to look at it. I want you to acknowledge that you've received it.
Let me just hide all my apps, hide others. Okay.
So just acknowledge when you've received it, but don't.
I have received a notification.
Excellent. Okay, Lloyd. So what I want you to do is this works a little bit better with more people, okay? But what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that you're with someone, okay? And what I'd say is I want you guys to think of a number between 1 and 52, okay? But in order to make sure that you don't think of the same number, I want you to think of an odd number, and I want you to think of an even number, okay? So, Lloyd, I want you to think of an odd number, and then Kaylee can think of an even number, but you can play both
Okay.
roles here. So Lloyd, your number would be
15.
15, and that was a fair choice. We haven't set up anything in advance. And then Kaylee, you're thinking of an even number, and Kaylee, your number is
36.
36. That's very, very interesting. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get you to think of a playing card together, but I want you to think of, I want it to be completely random, okay? So you know that nothing's been set up, right? So Lloyd, I want you to think of a value, and then Kaylee, I want you to think of a suit. So Lloyd, do you think of a value, which could be anyone? Jack, and then Kaylee, you think of a suit. Hearts, the Jack of Hearts. The Jack of Hearts, that's a free choice, right? That's absolutely wild. So I tell you what, I'm going to do this one more time, okay? I want you to think of a suit. This time I want you to think of a suit, Lloyd, and I want Kaylee to think of a value.
Okay, I'm going to go for clubs.
Yep.
And 8.
8. Okay, so we've got 15, 22, was it?
36.
36. Right, I'm going to write these down, sorry.
Do you know the funny thing was, I was initially thinking of 22, but it was 36.
So 15, 36, the Jack of Hearts,
yeah,
and the 8 of clubs. Right, okay, so just so we're on the same page. So that is really random, right? We haven't set anything up in advance. You just come up with these very, very randomly, okay?
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, Lloyd, is that I've got a pack of cards here. I'm going to angle it down so you can see them. And they're an interesting pack of cards because, as you can see, all the cards are different. But on the back of all the cards, they have numbers on them. So every card is numbered, and they're numbered quite randomly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find your cards. So 15 and 36. So I'm going to try and do this as fairly as possible. If you see that, just call it out. 38, 33, 13, 17, 34, 35, 12, 28, 3, 2, 41, 29, 36. There we go. And 16. Oh, I'm going to go through the whole pack at this point. Oh, I'm 15. There we go.
15.
Right.
Yay.
So 36, 15, and you said one of the cards you named was the 8 of clubs, right?
Yeah.
The 8 of clubs. The 8 of clubs, right there. You happy with that? And that seems very fair, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, right? There couldn't be any fairer. Now, interestingly enough, Lloyd, I sent you a photo on your phone before the trick even began. Why don't you have a look at that photo right now?
Jack of Hearts, 7 of clubs, 37.
So you actually chose the Jack of Hearts, right? Which is really random, right?
Yeah.
And that we never set anything up.
No.
And you chose the number 15.
Yeah.
Which just happens to be the Jack of Hearts. Which is bonkers, right? That's so wild. The other card you thought of was 36.
Yeah.
And you chose 36. And now what the picture I sent you, Lloyd, what does it say?
The 7 of clubs.
The 7 of clubs. So if the 36 is the 7 of clubs, I think that is quite an impossible moment, right? That's really, really random, right? I mean, that's a 1 in 52, but that's like a 1 in 52 multiple, which I don't really know the maths of. And then also you chose the 8 of clubs. And now the picture I sent you, there's a number on the back of that card. What's the number?
37.
So if the 8 of clubs has the number 37 on the back, that would just be statistically highly improbable, right?
It'd be unbelievable. Whoa. What? Wait. What?
Oh my God, have I just fooled Lloyd Barnes?
How in the ever-loving fuck?
Amazing.
I have
There you go. If you need any more proof that Trilogy Extreme is one of the best magic tricks ever, look at Lloyd Barnes' face right now.
Named Jack of Hearts. I am destroyed. I'm absolutely 15, 36. 8 of clubs, Jack of
and
hearts.
the Jack of hearts.
What? Mate, what in the hell is that? I mean, it's the trilogy. What the what?
I'm just going to let you marinate in that for a second.
I'm marinated all over my own thighs right now. I am. How in the hell, dude? I want to ask questions, but I don't want to have answers. I actually don't want to have answers to this.
Amazing.
Oh, God.
I'm just going to take this moment to just address all the underperforming hobbyists watching this right now. If you have Trilogy Extreme and it's collecting dust, it's a crime against Magic. Look at Lloyd Barnes' face. It's sold out, man. You'd have to ask Harry Nardi to get it back in production.
Why is it? It says in stock.
Oh, perfect. We'll get it then.
Oh my God, I kind of need to get this. How is it in stock?
Well, I must be mistaken then if I thought it was sold out. But yeah, it is phenomenal. It is such a good trick.
Oh my dude. I want to ask one question, but I also don't want the answer to be right. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I can't ask that.
Well, we can talk more about. I just love that I've fooled you with or Harry Nardi has fooled you. Well, I fooled you, but like this is the imposter syndrome that you get when you buy a trick off the internet. You do this impossible thing, and I can't really take credit for it. I'm always like, well, it was Harry Nardi's.
Well, I think there's a certain element. There's a certain element to it, though, which is I talk about this before. I think I talked about it with you, which is you could be the best guitarist in the world, best drummer in the world, best singer in the world. You could have them all in the same place, and they go together in a band, and they go out and they pick terrible songs to play at the local bar. No one's going to listen to them. You could have the worst singers, the worst guitarists, the worst drummers, the worst everything. They get together in the band and they pick the best, most bumping songs ever, and they're going to have the roof going off. Half the battle, if not more, just like what you did with Julian, more than half the battle of good Magic is good Magic selection. And so to pinpoint this effect out and perform it after all these years, you definitely deserve a lot of credit for acknowledging, recognizing, and sort of discovering or rediscovering the gold, because that's more important than discovering new methods, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Do you know, it's interesting when I said that it was sold out, I think after we release this video, it will be sold out. There'll be people like, yeah, I want that trick.
Yeah, I'm buying it for sure. I'm buying it right now.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. I'll let you know afterwards.
I think the reason I have it was, I remember me and my friend Owen, I used to own a company called Enigma Magic, went to the session convention. He saw Peter Nardi perform this on him at the Alakazam stand. It destroyed him. And then he got it, used it. Oh, he didn't perform Magic very much. He was like the owner of the, he was half owner of the company. Yeah. But like he was like not even interested in doing Magic. Didn't want to. He just wanted to earn money from the business or something. And then he was like, I bought it because I was so fooled, but then I'm never going to do it. Do you want it? I was like, yeah. He tried to do it to me, didn't do it right, so I didn't understand the trick. And I think it's in my mum's attic in like a clear plastic bag. I just remember having it in a clear plastic bag.
It's a banger. Yeah, it's a banger.
It's so good. I have to ask you a question. I'm going to text it to you.
Just ask me, and if you want, I'll just edit it out.
I'll text it to you. I'll text it to you. Because I don't want to spoil it.
Yes.
Okay. It doesn't weaken the effect for me, but there was a level to it where I was thinking, well, okay, like, wow. That is. How do people react when you perform it to them?
Amazing. I don't know if you saw the video. This is the trick I did at the wedding. I know you've been busy. If you didn't see the video, that's fine.
I haven't seen. No, I watched the intro to you and Cav, and what did I watch? I've been so busy. I said to you before the call started, this is the first chance I've had to really try have a bit of socializing.
And you say you're my biggest fan. Oh.
I am your biggest fan. I
And
was
he,
your very first commenter and subscriber, I think. So,
yeah,
you know,
and ever since
well
then,
done.
you just don't even watch. No, no, I'm only joking. But like, I performed that. So yeah, if you get a chance to watch that video, I performed that. This is the trick that I did for my friend's wedding, and
In the older video.
yeah, but my latest video was a performance breakdown of me doing it at the wedding and how it was a bit clunky and how I, like performing it to a crowd of people. And I managed to grab the microphone in between the band finishing and the DJ starting. And I was like, gather around, everyone, I'm going to do magic. And it was like quite a bold move. And then in the middle, there was a bit of a lull because I was like, oh, can you see the cards? We're going to pick out the cards. And then in the end, it was brilliant because I did a piece of artwork for them, which was beautifully curated, and it was him holding the jack, and it was her holding the 7, and then their daughter holding a balloon with the number 37, and they were like, no way, and they get to keep that as a impossible souvenir, which is pride of place in their house, and they've even given me a nice card which said, thank you for your incredible gift. The picture is pride of place in our house and sparks amazing memories every time we see it. So yeah, it was it's a beautiful thing. But I was acknowledging how clunky the performance was, but how ballsy it was that I actually did it and I didn't bottle out. And it was quite a like I say, I think I inspired myself with that message because afterwards I was like, oh yeah, I should take my own advice, and then I started doing magic at work.
Oh God! I need to see this thing. Where I work is here. I have no. I'm making excuses. I know I am. I really don't see a lot of people. This is my issue. The whole thing is, I see my friend Nikki most days now. We go out for coffee or breakfast, but the whole thing is performing for a complete stranger, right? Like I could perform to Nikki. I could easily set that up. And he's been like my childhood friend since we were like 3 years old. Sorry, 0 years old. But I've shown him like 2 magic tricks in his whole life. So I could show him stuff that fuck off. I could totally perform to my friend Nikki. I can do that. I've only ever showed him, the last time I showed him magic, I was 22.
Like I said, the original challenge was in a low stakes environment, just show someone and share. If you perform, you're like, oh, I'm going to perform. You're like, just share a little magical moment with someone in a low stakes environment. That's the first step, Okay. I know you're more than capable of it, Lloyd. So anyway.
Well, I could totally do it. I was trying to do it to a complete cold stranger. Nothing's like, it just doesn't, But my friend, I know the last time I showed him magic because I lived in a different house and I was 22 when I lived on Woodland Avenue. And the trick that I did to him was, have you ever seen, so this is what happened. I said, do you want a cup of coffee? This is in my mum's old house, right? So I'm 37 now, so this is 15 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I only lived there for when I turned 21 and we moved out when I was 22. So I know exactly the age I was. I said, yeah, I went to the kitchen and I said, do you want sugar? And as I'm making the coffee, he said, he's a builder, so he speaks like that. What the fuck are these magazines? From the living room.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, I don't know, my mum got them. And I'm making the coffee. I said, Nikki, open up the magazine and think of any long, difficult word on the page. And he said, okay. I said, remember it and close it. And I came in with the coffees. And I put them down. I went back out of the room and I said, think of the I can't remember the full method. Think of you have to pump for the first letter. So I got the first letter and then I revealed the word from the kitchen, shouting to him. And he completely freaked the fuck out. Still to this day, tells people about it. I've never performed for him since. He never asks me to see magic because he respects. I have a big thing about I had a big thing for a while because we work it all day on magic. I'd go out and then people would be like, do magic all day, and it would be annoying. So he has a thing about respecting my boundaries. But that was 15 years ago.
If that's what you're projecting to your friends, Lloyd, no wonder you don't do magic.
Well, dude, I would be in my studio creating magic all day, filming magic all day. Then I'd go away to like a convention and do magic all the time. I'd come out, I would do magic in the evening for people, and then they'd be like, do more magic. And it got to a point where I was doing so much performing that I was like, please, like, can I just go out and not? Because I also do magic for work, and it was I would go out to get out of magic for a bit. So I set that boundary with a few of my friends for a while because they were obsessed, and they've all respected it too much.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
But that means I have a good opportunity. If it's not about a complete stranger, then I will perform magic to my friend Nikki, and I'll try and film it.
like I say, and it sounds weird me saying this to you, but like the more you do it, like it's like the more you'll end up in situations like the one with Julian. Like if people know that you're a magician, well, people should know you're a magician, but like if you show someone a random like something in a coffee shop, and then next time you're in the coffee shop, they'll be like, oh, you showed my friend David a magic trick. Is there any chance you could do one for me? But like, oh well, yeah, maybe. I'm just in the middle of having a coffee, but and then I mean, it's like a snowball effect. Like you've gotta break the seal, man. You gotta take the first step.
I know. I think I've just sort of it's clicked with me with something that like for so long I went through a big thing of being like, oh yeah, it's like I've shown everyone magic. Like, all my friends have seen magic, but I then started saying, because they kept asking all the time, like started saying, oh, can I not show some magic today? Because mainly as well, I'd be out of tricks. Like I'd show them the good stuff, and then I'd be like I wouldn't want to be like, okay, well you've seen like the lottery ticket trick, you've seen Omni deck, like I'm running out of fumes sort of thing. And then so I think a lot of people are like, oh, Lloyd's asked us to not ask him now.
I think that's not a magic problem. That's an audience problem. You have a lot of magic, and like I've got the same. I go to around my friend's house and I'm like, you've seen all of my tricks. I'm not going to pull out the bloody loyalty cards because you know what's coming. You know the punchline to every joke. So you don't have a magic problem. You have an audience problem. You need fresh energy.
For energy. For energy. I need some energy in this bitch.
You do. Right. To keep this podcast on track and below 2 hours, I think there's two things I want to talk about. I want to talk about performing 6 for my dad, and I want you to show me your beautiful effect that you were going to show me. Remember you told me you were going to show me a magic trick. You can show me a magic trick. Please, Lloyd, show me a magic trick.
I showed you that bizarre twist trick, so you got that.
No, but you were going to show me the one that you did online recently. You remember?
Yes. Well, yeah, I was going to show you it like off recording. I was going to show it to you off recording. But I can try. And then well, I wanted to keep it sort of secret a little bit.
You already performed it to, was it Bo?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'll explain. Let me show it to you and we'll see how it goes.
And I tell you what, we can edit it out if not. All right. Yeah, show it to me. Why not? I'm excited, man. Just show me a magic trick. That's what jamming's about, right?
I'm in my this would normally be done with me here with you, all right? But you have to trust me, it's a borrowed deck.
You've been shuffling that deck like obsessively for the last hour and a half, Lloyd. I'm pretty sure it's randomized.
All right. Do you want me to do anything more with it, or are you happy with it like this? It's up to you.
I want you to give it one riffle shuffle.
Dealing?
Just one riffle
shuffle.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Good enough?
That's good enough.
Can you see? Yeah. I don't know if you can see. Are they all different? Yeah. Okay. But you'll be doing all this.
Yeah. Sweet.
So I'm going to start dealing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see, and then you just tell me when to stop.
Stop. Stop.
Right here?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that was quite soon, but yeah.
It's right. So it's entirely up to you. Do you want me to deal any more?
No, I'm happy with the Queen of Clubs.
You happy right there? Did you see the trick before?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. So I should have said there's a prediction in my pocket, my front left pocket. You remember that from the before? I should have said that.
I hope you've got it in your left pocket.
Yeah. So you can see the prediction. I try to vary it up a little bit this time. Says, oh shit.
Did I stop too soon?
That's what she said. But this is not the prediction. This is an instruction.
Right.
It says 4, so we'll go 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fair? Shuffled as much as you wanted. We could have done anything you wanted. Could have stopped anywhere you wanted.
Yeah.
Yet you stopped on the Queen. The prediction was to deal 4 more.
Yeah.
And on the back of my prediction, it says 7 of spades.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. That's wild. Because even though like I technically knew the punchline, was like, because obviously you're my friend and I don't want it to go wrong. And I was like, if I say stop, like right on the Queen, I'm like, maybe I stopped too soon. But like how you don't want the trick to go wrong, but at the same time,
I didn't want you to help me either.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Favourable.
But as a friend, I didn't want you to deal 51 cards, and I didn't want you to deal. I don't know.
You could. So realistically, you could have stopped way later, or sooner. You could have stopped sooner as well.
So part of me thinks, right, you've got a card index, and no matter what one you choose, but then there's only 1/7 of the deck isn't in any stack. You shuffled. I could have shuffled. Yeah, no. And even if you did have an index, like it was very smooth. It really looked like you had one card.
Oh yeah, I don't have an index. I mean, I've made indexes in the past, but
I know. I'm just trying to think. But if I'd have stopped, if you asked me to do one more, or even I could have. Or what if I'd went past the 7?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Which is a very, very realistic situation that could have happened, and I was happy for you to do it.
Would we have dealt backwards? I don't. Oh man, that was brilliant. That's really, really, really.
Would there have been a different reveal on a different card?
Yeah, maybe you've got cards in all your pockets. I remember I've got one in my back pocket. But then you don't know the order of the cards. But you don't know the order.
Mm-hmm.
Fried.
I'm not going to help you.
And you were like not even, because the fact that you said, oh, you know, if it goes wrong, we can edit it out, whatever. I was like, oh, well, I hope it, but you were like, that was great. That was.
Thanks, man. Thanks, dude.
Well, I'm not pumping up your ego. I'm completely fooled. I'm not like, oh, well done, Lloyd. I'm like completely fooled.
Well, now you know how it feels, Mr. fucking Trilogy Extreme.
Yeah.
Bask in it. Bathe your face in it.
That was phenomenal.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
I'm lost for
you.
words. I like the fact that like now the tables have turned. Like your face just a minute ago when I had Trilogy Extreme, and now I'm like, and now I feel like Julian.
Yeah, it's one of the only issue with it is that it's not a personal effect. You know, I could have done like, you know, what's the month you were born or something, maybe, you know.
No, I don't think there's anything wrong. I don't think there's any reason to compare it. That was completely impossible.
Thanks, man.
Completely.
If anybody wants to learn it, go to my Patreon, patreon.com/LloydB.
I'll be on there later. I'm like,
you know, it's actually. It's surprisingly easy to do.
Same as Trilogy Extreme. That's surprisingly easy to do. But wow, that was. You've been shuffling that deck the whole. You've been.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, you would have been shuffling it.
Yeah, we need to move on. Otherwise, this podcast is going to be me like I'm in and blah 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 blah. But yeah, that was brilliant. That was. Oh, hold on.
Thanks, man. Okay, tell me about this performance you've done.
Yeah.
For your dad.
So, a little bit of a backstory. I've been wanting to try this with my dad for a while. His birthday was on the 1st of March. Today's the 1st of April. So it's been a while. But without going off topic too much, my mum has got Alzheimer's, like a bit of dementia. So it's a little bit difficult to steer the conversation in the direction it needs to go when my mum is a little bit mentally impaired. But I do want to emphasize this: the fact that I started with chop, right, and I was like, look, I want to show you something. Again, the more I perform chop, the more I get really comfortable with it, and I'm so stoked with it. You know what I mean? Like it's so cool. Like, you know, oh look, I'm going to pop this in there, pop it in my hand. You know, where is it? It's like it's gone. You know, it's underneath the cup, and then oh my god, the fact that, you know, I revealed, you know, the orange. They were like, oh my god, the orange. They loved it.
Wait! You've done it with the orange reveal.
Virtually. So sorry, I did this virtually to my parents over.
Well, it doesn't make a difference though. Okay. What the fuck? Yeah, because that changed. I think the orange does change it up because it's such a shocking thing, right?
Yeah.
Also, so you did the orange reveal.
Yeah, I don't want to segue away too much, but I have another podcast which I do every week called Wheel Talk. It's to do with like being in a
I
wheelchair.
remember you saying, yeah.
I performed it to Brittany, the lady I do the podcast with. I did it with the orange and the note back in. I did the same thing with you. I was like, but instead of writing it, I was like, oh, so this one's been marked with like LB. We'll just call it like Love Brittany, you know. And I did the whole routine with the orange and then back in the wallet. And she was like, what the hell? That's like amazing. So yeah, I've been performing it more and more virtually. No, you know, spoiler alert, it's actually a lot easier because when you've got like a window, you know, like
take advantage of it.
Yeah,
take advantage of your environment, like you did.
So I did it on the podcast, which was really cool, and because we live stream it, there were loads of people being like, "What the hell? That was amazing!" Like, well, you know, and then. So I did it to my parents, and again, it's so lovely. Again, I wanted to just dwell on this moment before I go into the 6 reveal. Is that my mum has dementia, right? So sometimes it's very difficult to have conversations with her. She repeats herself a lot. You know, anyway, my point is she lit up at this magic trick. She lit up. She was just like, what the hell? That's amazing. The orange. Oh my God. You know, and like to share joy in like a fairly, can I use the word soulless? Like a when I call my parents, it's usually quite difficult, but to be able to share magic with them, it fills them up, it lights them up. And I know that it's probably a little bit more difficult for my dad than my mum. So when my dad gets like a little respite of like, you know, his son doing magic and, you know, seeing my mum light up as well, it's just like a fucking cool little window of just be like, you know, rather than a sort of tedious conversation, it's like sharing magic. It's really cool, man. Anyway, after Chop, I said, do you still have your birthday card? And I had sent him a birthday card, and he likes steam trains. So I drew a picture of a steam train, and I said, and I put like in the steam, like the numbers for the reveal. And it's been on his shelf for nearly a month, right? So he had no idea it was there. You know, he'd forgotten about it. And so I want to keep this bit deliberately vague out of respect for the trick, because I really love the effect, and I love the fact that I thought it was something else. And so so we did. So he chose his numbers, and again, this was a bit tedious to do because it was really interesting because I was like, oh, you know, have you played the lottery? You know, it's so interesting that my friend, you know, Benji's mum actually would have won the lottery. You know, I mean, if she'd have carried on playing, blah blah blah. And I was sort of like leading, and it was kind of a little bit shoehorned in, but I was like, look, we you know, let's try a little something. So
nobody cares about that after the.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was obviously, the thing is, right, I tried to do this before, but like it was really awkward. My mum was not in a great place, so I just abandoned it. I was like, oh, you know what, forget it. Hopefully I'll get another chance to do it. And this was the chance. I was like, okay, great. Now's the chance. We got the random numbers. I was like, oh, there's no way, you know, you just chose those random chose those random numbers. There's no way I could have known that you'd have chosen those numbers. There's no way that you could have known really that you'd have chosen those numbers. And he's like, yeah. I was like, I sent you a birthday card, and it's been on your shelf. Is it still on your shelf? And he's like, yeah. I was like, just grab the birthday card real quick. I got him to read the numbers out, and I said, oh, so if you notice, like in the smoke of the steam train, there are some numbers. And he's like, what? He's like, I never noticed these numbers before. And they numbers matched the numbers from the lottery prediction. And he was like, what the hell? He was mind blown. Even my mum was like, what the hell? How did that happen? And there was just the whole energy just lifted. And he was just like, that has got to be one of the best tricks you've ever done. He's like, the orange was amazing. But like, he's like, did you creep in here last night and write down the numbers? Like, has that been on the whole time? Like this card has been on his shelf for a month, and it matches this impossible prediction. And it was just absolutely phenomenal.
Or something. Well,
God damn it!
It was the trick was so mind blowing. It destroyed internet connections around the world. It just wiped out time. It snapped Google in half, and now all systems and technology are slowly going to depreciate and frazzle and burn out. And he's back.
Oh. Hey, sorry. I hope you could feel the dead air while I was away, but I don't know when it cut out. But essentially, I got to finish the story. I hope.
I heard it just mind blown, and then it went, and I was like, "Oh, it's so incredible that it snapped Google! It broke time. Devices across the world started to frazzle out."
Yeah.
I
So
think,
yeah,
I mean, I don't want to take too much credit for it because I think like, everyone loves a lottery prediction. I think what really helped drive it into the stratosphere was the time that you put into making the card, sending it a month before. I think I would love to be like, oh yes, my trick's the best trick on earth. But realistically, you could have done like a word reveal or a playing card reveal or something personal as a reveal. It's the fact that you sent it a month in advance, hand drawn, and they
yeah,
had it on their shelf is the cherry on top of the pie.
yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Like, if anything, I would have loved to have done it like on his birthday when the card arrived, but like in a very weird way, the fact that the card has been there a month, it kind of makes the effect stronger in a bizarre little way. Like, oh my god, that's been on the shelf for a month. Like, how could you have possibly predicted that like a month ago?
I
Even like
bet you
even
could.
yeah,
I bet you could almost attribute it to like on a birthday, they think you're going to do something special and extra and go out your way for them. But a month later, it's like the dust has settled, and it's so out of left field. It's like, what?
yeah.
And maybe that's why it ups the ante a little bit. 'Cause it's like, oh yeah, I mean, on my birthday, of course he's going to try and do something good. But I mean, this is like a month later. There's no
Yeah,
way
yeah.
he could have known.
And that was purely accidental, actually, the fact that so much time had passed. But oh man, it was so good, dude. It was so good, and I just loved the fact that they just got to share a beautiful bit of magic. It lifted the mood of the whole
Wow.
interaction, and it was utterly impossible. And like I performed it to my another friend on his birthday with the same sort of thing, but it was instead I'd given him the birthday card, right? And his girlfriend said, "Wait a second. The chances of you getting those numbers right are the same chances of you actually winning the lottery." And I was like, I hadn't even considered that, but it's true. And she was like, dude, that is like Darren Brown shit. That is Darren Brown shit. That's what she said to me. And I was like, it really is, right? It really is. And
Yeah.
she loved it. And the fact that she compared me to Darren Brown also gave me imposter syndrome as well, because I'm like, oh, I just read this in a book from Lloyd Barnes, but still.
It's one of those tricks. I mean, I'm so biased because I made it, and I felt like the creation of Six was like a culmination of like all my years of magic and creation. Because a 21-year-old Lloyd would have come up with a very different method to that. But it was kind of like I was realizing what was important in magic was and how to present magic at the time of when I was creating that, and the approach to it. As you can see, it's really conversational. It's really organic. It's not really framed like a trick. And yeah, and then because of that, it opened up areas to exploit in terms of the method that aren't there for other people trying to do lottery effects, which means you have like this sort of blue ocean territory, and then you get these like crazy reactions from it, and once they pick those six numbers, there's no turning back. In terms of method for them, it's just, oh, man. Yeah, I mean, see, you make me want to go out and do my own shit, man. What the hell's wrong with you?
There's nothing wrong with you. Like your shit is amazing. That's what I'm saying. Like your magic creations are amazing. That's why you're Lloyd Barnes. That's why your
This
tricks
is the
fly
whole
off the
imposter
shelf.
syndrome. Do you know what's
Everyone has
interesting?
it,
You said
man.
though, Fred, about that moment between you and your parents, and sometimes which can be like sort of like not the best times. You said in some way it goes back to that Eric Mead thing of the bell ding with the conditioning. Magic does something where other art forms can't venture. It can go somewhere where other things can't, which is in that moment of the experience, astonishment, everything else goes away. Any worries, any stresses. And I think you can probably attest to that now, probably more than a lot of people could, because in that one moment you had with your parents, like you said, it like lit up the room with energy and happiness and joy. And that's something really unique to magic, I think.
It
You
really
know?
is, man. Especially to sort of break the spell a little bit with my mum, to hold her attention and it's I don't know. Like the sad thing is, I don't want to segue too far away from magic, but like next time I speak to her, I'll be like, "Oh, do you remember that magic trick I did last time?" And she won't remember, but it's fine because it's living in the moment. And in that moment, she was really happy, and they were both really happy. And my dad especially was just like, he was like, "That might be the greatest magic trick you've ever done." And I was like, "Yeah, it was." Again, sometimes you forget, and I really want to double down on this point because we've mentioned this before. The reactions of the spectators, whether they be family members, friends, or strangers, always exceed your expectations. You're like, whoa, shit, man. Like,
Yeah.
when you know how a magic trick's done, it's not magic. When you don't know how a magic trick's done, it's utterly fucking impossible. And we forget that so often. And yeah, it's utterly impossible to reverse engineer.
The problem with magicians is that it's literally our job to make the impossible ordinary. Because we have to learn the effects, we have to practice them. We have to do them so much that we get so consistent with them that we can do them with our eyes closed, second nature, like we're just blinking, taking a breath, or writing our names down. And then we're expected to go forth with that piece of magic that you've been practicing and expect this participant to have that same level of excitement that you now don't have with it.
Yes.
So it's like is it off balance?
Yes. That same level of excitement you saw when you watched the trailer, you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. I want that trick. Then you watch the tutorial and you're like, oh, that's how it's done. No one's going to fall for that. Like, what the hell? You just you spent money on it, and then, I don't know. I think that's the whole underlying ethos of the underperforming hobbyist. There's this imposter syndrome. There's no one's ever going to fall for that, even though I just fell for that. And even one more thing, I did Lucky Ladybug last night. And again, right, I was watching her when she did the reveal. Again, beautiful moment. But she was trying to work out how the ladybug came off the card, manifested into a real ladybug on her hand. And I was like, surely, it's obvious that I just stuck it on your hand when you weren't looking. There's no way it can. But she was but it's come off the card. And not only has it come off the card, it's changed into a real ladybug. And I'm like, it baffles me that her disbelief was suspended that much that she genuinely thought that's what happened. And it still baffles me. I just think that sometimes it's a bit of a novelty when you wave over, you're like, oh, a ladybug. Oh, how cute. But she was thinking that the utterly impossible had happened.
Have you ever read Paul Harris's essay on astonishment?
No.
It basically talks about that when you're a child, everything's amazing. Everything. A cup is incredible. A cardboard box when you're a baby is a time machine.
Yeah.
Everything's amazing and things are wondrous. And how does water stay in a cup? And how are those people inside that box that's called a TV? And all these things that are just everyday to us now are fantastical, mystical, magical, amazing, astonishing. And as you get older, you start to build, each one of these things becomes a brick. And you build a brick, like a brick tunnel around yourself as you get older. Of all the things that were once fascinating are now just bricks. And you build up this wall that surrounds you. And when someone shows you magic, it knocks that wall down. And it takes you back to the moment you're a child again. And that for the first time in your adult life, or a long time, suddenly you've got something which cannot be explained, or it's wondrous, it's astonishing. That's that's paraphrasing, but that's essentially what he talked about in The Art of Astonishment. And what's so fascinating about that, in correlation to the ladybug trick, that woman scene, is that it shows that she was willing, in her head, it takes you back to essentially being a child, that childlike wonder. And in her head, she was willing to go to that place out loud and verbalize what her inner child was thinking, which was, wow, did that become a ladybug and fly onto my hand?
Yeah.
And that's so beautiful that she was willing to go there. And I think there's so many magicians that say, oh, I never want my audience I never want to allow them to believe in magic. I poo-poo it and say it's not. I don't tell people that it's not magic. I don't want to take away that experience. I'm just quite ambiguous with people. I'm not I just kind of just don't give them anything. I just kind of I laugh a lot. I nervous laugh after the trick. I'm like, that was cool, wasn't it? And leave it at that. Let them go and explore. I'd never insult anyone's intelligence.
Yeah.
But if you've had the ability to transport someone or break those bricks down in that wall, and their mind has gone to a childlike state of wonder and curiosity, don't take that from someone. That's fucking horrible, because you've given them an incredible gift in that moment.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think we can end the podcast there, because we've just hit 2 hours, and that was beautiful. There was something else I wanted to speak to you about. Maybe we could speak about it, and maybe if it's not relevant, because it's nothing to do with magic, we can edit it out, or we can keep it in. But if you don't see the rest of the podcast, then thanks for listening, everybody. And it's been wonderful.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey. Okay, cool. And